Okay. So I'm going to give a short recap of what Assistant Chief Ryan Dale shared yesterday in regards to the incident at Belmont Elementary. On Thursday, September 5th, just before 1:45 p.m., officers responded to Belmont for a firearm found at the school reported to law enforcement by Lincoln Public Schools. Police determined a 10-year-old boy brought the gun to school after finding it somewhere outside several days earlier. Another student found it behind the toilet in a bathroom and reported it to an adult. The gun was rusty and inoperable and was not loaded at the time. Parents of all students interviewed were extremely cooperative with law enforcement. School staff and administration worked collectively with police to determine a sequence of events quickly and efficiently, and interviews continued into Thursday evening. We do not believe anyone was ever in danger, and there were no active threats. And we encourage everyone that if you see something, say something. We advise children to not touch weapons and tell a trusted adult if they find something that makes them feel unsafe.
Do we know what kind of gun it was, like the model of gun?
It was a 380. I think it was a Keltec. I can double check that.
And with that, is police able to know like how old the gun is?
I don't know about that kind of testing. Yeah.
Could the gun be tracked to the owner? Because I'm assuming like that's not the proper way to dispose of a gun. If that's what they were trying to do.
Correct. I don't know about the tracking. Do you have any insight on that?
Depends how rusted it is. From my understanding, it's pretty rusted.
Yeah.
So it must be difficult.
Would it be considered something like an antique?
I have not seen it, so I can't speak to that.
It was mentioned that it was found outside a few days earlier.
Mhm.
Is this like outside the school, outside his house?
I believe they said it was in a nearby park, but not within the boy's home, not on school property.
Would it be possible to get a photo of the gun?
I can inquire about that. My guess would be likely not, but I can ask. Any other questions on that one? No? So the water listing is up there. I'm going to pull up another document here briefly. And I can send this out to you as well. So this is in reference to the aggravated assault that happened at Canopy and Q Streets. Lincoln Police Department currently investigating that incident that happened in the Haymarket area of Canopy and Q overnight. Officers were monitoring concert traffic when numerous gunshots were heard around 11:15 p.m. A 19-year-old male received a gunshot wound to his right arm, and an officer did apply a tourniquet. He was then taken to the hospital for care, and it is considered a non-life-threatening injury. The investigation is still ongoing, but we do not believe that there is a threat to the public, and we're asking anyone with information about the incident, including video recordings, to contact law enforcement 402-441-6000, or if they'd like to remain anonymous, they can call Crime Stoppers at 402-475-3600. That victim is from Omaha.
Any idea how many shots were fired? Was it just one caliber weapon?
I don't know about the caliber of weapon. It said there were numerous shots fired. I don't have a specific number.
No shell casings recovered, or?
I'll have to double check that. I can sit down and look at that. And then just to showcase this, so this came from our crime analysis unit. It's a map showing shootings and shots fired throughout Lincoln in 2024. So we've had 11 accidental. So if you look at just the non-accidental or intentional shots or shots fired or shootings, you can see that those red dots are throughout the city. So there's not one specific area that these are located around. I know sometimes there can be discussions that there are, certain areas that tend to have more shootings than others, but this is that updated data for 2024. And then based on the projections, we're looking at the possibility of likely 73 shootings this year based on where we currently sit, which would be lower than years past. And this is the second slide. That just gives you an idea of where those numbers have sat in previous years. So if we do hit that estimated total number in 2024 of 73, that would put us under last year's number of 88, and again, under what we've seen in recent years. The last year that we had 73 was 2018.
So it was 50 and 11 are accidental?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'll send you these 2 pages of data so you have it.
As far as the 19-year-old goes, do we know if it was a targeted attack or if it was seemingly random with LPDs?
That is part of the investigation, and that's something that they'll be working on figuring out. They still have to interview numerous witnesses. This is still pretty early on since it just happened overnight, so that'll be something they look into.
Is there surveillance footage available of them?
I think they're looking into that because it was near those parking garages, so they're seeing if that's something that they'll be able to access, but that takes time and contacts happening this morning to figure that out.
So the police don't know if there's a reason behind the shooting, or they can't say right now?
That's being investigated. I don't have a specific answer at this time.
And when we say extremity, are we talking leg, are we talking arm?
Yep, I said right arm.
Right arm?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what kind of bullet gun was used?
Let me see if that's in here. Looks like a bullet fragment was collected, but it doesn't specify caliber. Farther down, 9mm.
And just one casing was found?
No, it looks like there was a number of casings. At least 7. And then that separate fragment.
And was the victim with anybody at the time of the shooting?
It doesn't specify that, but again, I agree with Todd. But it said he was actually located near the Hyatt Hotel with the gunshot wound, so, I mean, there was more than 1,000 people out there walking as the concert was getting out.
If the reason for the shooting is being investigated, what's the reason the police said that there's no, cause for concern or danger to the public if there's no reason behind the shooting yet?
Let me check in with the chief investigator on that, and I can get you more information on that. Any other follow-ups on that?
The victim, were they attending the concert?
Assume so. I don't know if it specifies that.
That's our premise. I mean, right now, we have to do a more in-depth interview with the victim. Certainly when they're at the hospital, those efforts take priority.